The CEO of Adcorp. Richard, good afternoon to you. This was one hell of a strike.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it was one hell of a strike, and I think everyone's pretty much reeling as to what happened. And now that the dust is settling, I think people are trying to take stock and to try and sort of glean some lessons out of this process.
Did it need to go on for 5 weeks?
Yeah, look, it nearly went on for 6 weeks. No, it didn't. But it was quite interesting. There were some quite interesting and dangerous precedents set in the strike. The first was that the unions were effectively disintermediated. The workers took it upon themselves to negotiate their own deal. That in itself is quite interesting. Secondly, which is quite a dangerous precedent, is that the workers or the union had already negotiated a 2-year deal which was reneged upon essentially. In theory, there shouldn't have been a wage negotiation at this time, so that was quite an interesting precedent as well.
You're suggesting then it was the game changer that some analysts are saying it was?
Could you just, repeat that? The sound is not wonderful.
Apologies for that, Richard. What I'm asking you is that some analysts have been suggesting in recent days that this strike was a real game changer, that you seem to be in agreement with them.
Yeah, definitely it's a game changer, but it's quite interesting if you start analysing it and you say who actually won. I don't think anybody won, to be quite honest. Lonmin certainly didn't win. Did government win? No, I don't think government won. I think what it has done is it's actually exposed a really bad dispensation for labour relations in South Africa, whereby the relationship between employer and employee is anything but healthy. Did COSATU win? No. I think that they lost from the point of view that they were disintermediated in the process on the ground and potentially have lost touch with the workers. And then did the workers themselves win? Yes. They got a short-term gain of 22%, but I can guarantee you that it'll be at the cost of jobs, not only at Marikana and not only in the mining industry, but I think generally down the track we will see a greater loss of jobs, because the risks of employment at the moment are quite onerous on employers.
From your reading of these past, as you say, almost 6 weeks, what happened that the likes of NUM were kind of shuffled out of the game?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting that they were sort of shuffled out of the game. If you look at why potentially they've lost touch with the people on the ground. If you look at the COSATU conference that's on the go at the moment, the General Secretary, Zwelinzima Vavi, actually said at the beginning of the conference that the unions need to engage less in politics and more in the interests of the workers. And I think that was a commentary about the fact that potentially maybe they have lost touch. But then if you look at the unfolding of the COSATU Congress, it's all been about politics. It's been very little about the workers.
Do you think governments reacted too slowly in Marikana?
Government in theory shouldn't have reacted, but I think where things have gone awry is because of the alliance that you have between A and government. You have a skewing of the power base in favour of the unions, and so we've never seen the sort of the violent behaviour that we see in strikes in this country ever acted upon. We see a lot of damage to property, a lot of loss of life, but we don't see any action taken, and it should be no surprise to any of us that this actually happened. What government's role is to roll out a legislative framework that facilitates decent relationships between employer and employee. And unfortunately at the moment they can't be honest broker because of this alliance, and therefore we sit with a situation where this relationship between employer and employee is significantly strained.
It's been a frightening period in South Africa. How do we make sure that a Marikana-style strike doesn't hit us again?
Well, let's be positive about it, and let's hope that some lessons were learned. And I think the one lesson that needs to be learned, and hopefully will be, and the President alluded to it, is that violence will not be tolerated at strikes. And as I said in the past, absolutely no repercussions for violent behaviour. It's actually unacceptable to come to a strike with a panga, with a knobkerrie, with a knife. It just raises the whole temperature, it raises the heat, and then on the other side you've got the police who are ill-trained for riot control. By the admission of the Commissioner of the Police, she said that no riot training has taken place since 1994, and I think there was panic on behalf of the police. So maybe if there's some lessons to be learnt, it's more restraintful type of tactic on the part of the police and better training, and on behalf of striking workers to disarm them.
Richard Pike, the CEO of Adcorp, thank you.